what we got here is a Winchester 30 WCF, the WCF Winchester centerfire. Problem I've had, I just acquired this. I took it to the range, and the problem is when you go to cycle, it's super stiff. Super stiff. Hardly move it. I don't know if it's because it hasn't been used much. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it apart because something's going on in here. Just open it up and find out what it is. Anyway, I'll be back in a little bit, but this one is probably, I'll have to find the serial numbers, the records, but this one starts at 138. I don't think there's any records back then, and that is a section that's kind of blank. I'll do the math and see where it ends up. Anyway, let's see what happens. It's nearly in mint condition. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit. When I take it apart, you're down to this section here. And what I've started to do, when this comes down, the slide rides right on top of that, and that's where my problem is. Anyway, if you notice, you can see where it's been riding. The metal's worn down a little bit from the hammer. I smoothed down the hammer, it's nice and shiny now. I'm going to work on the slide here for the bolt and see if I can get that smoothed down. I got all the gunk off everything, caked on grease from years. Still got a little bit of cleaning on the sides of this, but otherwise I think my main problem is going to be right in here. And probably polish off the back there a little bit. But otherwise, I'll see you later. So what I've done is I've been sanding the top of this because it was definitely rough, very rough. I'm about halfway through. It's getting nice and shiny. I'm using 1200 grit. I will buff it out with the Dremel tool when I'm done to polish it. But if you look on the bottom, you can see it's getting quite shiny now. It should definitely improve the action. I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see that. But basically what I've been doing is just getting in there with your hand, your fingers, and just rubbing. Since it's such a fine grit, it's taken a while to get down to this point. But basically, just keep working it. You can't tell much difference, but I can. I can see it's coming down. And then if you notice, I don't see those ridges that are, if the light hits it just right, there's some ridges in there from, I guess, the machine tool when they made this thing. This particular Winchester 94 is, from what I can guess, is in that section of years where there's no serial numbers, but this one's pretty close to, I'd say, 44, maybe 1945. Because this one, it doesn't have the spring in the back. It's got the steel spring, not, you know. So, but anyway, I'm going to keep working on this whole section where when that goes back, it slides right along there, and that's where my resistance was. I also polished up the front here, where this guy, when it ends up about like that. So this guy is traveling up and meets right there and locks in place, and then that's where this guy hits the firing pin. So anyway, I'm going to keep working. This I smoothed out, if you can tell, at the top, because that also rides just a hair on the way down. And I'll keep working, and we'll come back later. What I'm doing also, it looks dirty now, but anyway, if you can see with a slide, if I can get it out, okay, there we go, where the firing pin comes back, right here, it just felt a little rough, and I'm just buffing that part out just to polish it. It felt a little rough. I don't know if you could quite see it, but yeah. After going all the trouble of taking this thing apart and get as far as I'm going, I'm just going to go ahead and buff this part out here. Especially this lip. Alright, with that aside, let's get this one more polish here. That's going to be fine. Alright, let's go clean these things up. I'll be back in a bit. Alright, I went and cleaned everything. I got the action of the firing pin. Basically, you just want it to, you can hear it tick. Slides free. Before I tilt it, there it goes, drops back. If you look right here, you can see it just before it drops. There, okay. Anyway, yeah, I could spend another hour and really make it mirror finish, but this isn't too bad. But I could definitely, on this side over here, I could definitely, from the bluing, I could see where it was worn down in here, a lot in here. Just, it was like struggling. I don't know if the guy that I bought it from ever used it. There's no rust. He might have fired a box of 3030s through it, but that's about it. Anyway, this guy came out nice and shiny. And then when they meet, it's super smooth. It's like nothing. I'm just going to put a drop of oil, no more. Probably doesn't even need oil, but I'll put a drop. And then what I'll do is I'm also going to put one drop in here. Just a single drop. There. Let that go down inside. And what we'll do is put this back together. Alright. This one's different than others, it's older, but this guy, slides in the top, drops in like that. This guy goes in the rear. In that order. This holds the butt plate. This goes in there. These two guys, there's one on each side that hold the spring in place, so it pops up and down. This holds the lever action up here. And then this guy is a pin. Some of the newer models, they had a screw on each side. This is a pin. And then the one in the bottom, that's right there. When this pin goes through, this screw holds it in the middle, and if you notice right in the middle, it's beveled. Alright. Make sure your blade is inside the screw and not scratching the receiver. That was easy putting it back together, wasn't it? Anyway, she's back, and lever action is super smooth. If you had seen this before, you would know why I went to all that trouble of taking it apart and polishing that. But anyway, it's a nice little Winchester Model 9430 WCF Winchester centerfire. Anyway, the action is a whole lot better. Anyway, I'll see you guys later.